In this episode of the Range Minded podcast, there could be a little bit of change coming up after January. And there might just be one big, monstrous, ugly agency that could be circling the drain. We're going to talk about the ATF and the possibilities that await. Oh, and maybe a little bit more. I hope you enjoy this episode of the Range Minded podcast, episode 261, ATF You. Anyway, enjoy. All right, like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about the ATF. That's the one thing I wanted to talk about right off the bat. This episode may be a little bit shorter, which I'm sure you guys will enjoy. I tend to be a little bit long-winded, which I'm assuming turns people away. I get it. I can't help it. I start thinking about things and then I just can't shut up. I don't know. It's just the way it is. But before I get into that, how was your guys' Thanksgiving? As I'm recording the show, it is the 30th of November. The year is almost gone. I mean, November is gone. But where did 2024 go? Like it's gone, vanished. As usual, I don't get near as much done as I want to. But you know, things happen. What are some of the things that you guys do? If you follow me on Instagram, by the way, why don't you follow me on Instagram? I mean, honestly, Range Minded Podcast on Instagram should be pretty easy to find. I posted a live there as well as, sorry, my phone's going off at the same time. So distractions, little squirrel moments. So I posted on there as well on X. And if you're not following me on X, what the hell are you doing anyways? You are a grown individual. You should be spending as much time on social media as possible. That's what the kids do. So why can't the grown-ups do it too? By the way, it's at Range Minded on X. But anyway, I posted a video on Thanksgiving morning. We try to make it a tradition on my wife's side of the family that all the dudes, all the men, boy, this sounds really sexist now that I think about this, but all the men go shooting first thing in the morning. We meet together and we go shooting. Well, unfortunately, some things happened where not all of my brother-in-laws could have showed up, but one of my brother-in-laws brought his sons. I guess they would be my nephews, right? I assume that's how that works. And my son didn't show up either. He's getting married soon, so now he has to learn how to divide his time from this side of the family and his future in-law side of the family. So that's just the way it was. Anyway, so I picked up my father-in-law, and we met my brother-in-law and my nephews out in the desert. Instead of going to an organized range, we're really blessed on having some really amazing spots to shoot. If you've watched any of my YouTube videos, you've probably seen me shoot out in the desert before. And yes, we clean up after ourselves. In fact, we tend to clean up more garbage than we leave. It's kind of the right thing to do. More people need to do that. Pay attention, take notes, because you should be doing that too if you shoot out on public land. Anyway, we shot some shotguns. I had a chance to shoot some really nice, what were they, Berettas? No, Benellis. Really nice. No. Anyway, semi-automatic shotguns. I'm not a really good, I'm not a purveyor of good quality shotguns. I don't spend a lot of time with shotguns. I don't bird hunt. I'm not against bird hunting. I just don't do it. Mostly because it's done when it starts to get cold, and I don't really want to waste my time in the cold. If I do have shotguns, the ones I do have, they're kind of set up for more of a defensive purpose. I do like to shoot clays. I suck at it, actually. I'm really terrible at it. But I do understand, and I can tell when there's a good quality gun in my hand. These are the Extreme 4s, I think is what they were. Yeah, it's oh, they're over there. I should just go grab them. Great guns. Great feeling guns. Man, they shoot so nice. And you can tell a difference when you're shooting a quality semi-auto. You can tell the difference. Now, I imagine if you had something a little bit more expensive oriented towards sporting clays and birds, it'd be even better.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
Nonetheless, I really enjoyed it. One of my nephews, I took one of my AR pistols. Actually, all my other nephews shot this, but they don't really get around a lot of gun stuff. Like, my kids have been indoctrinated in the Second Amendment, like bathed in the waters of freedom, indoctrinated.
And on the third day, God created the Remington bolt-action rifle so that man could fight the dinosaurs and the homosexuals. Amen.
So when we do go shooting, which I don't take my kids shooting enough, but when we do go shooting, I always have an AR. I have my Glocks. I have other stuff that they can shoot. But my nephews don't really get a chance to do it. Specifically, one of my nephews, he lives in a house where, guns really aren't that big of a priority. His real dad, they're divorced. My sister-in-law and him are divorced. Not my nephew, but his dad. Well, that sounded weird. It is Idaho. They're divorced, so my nephew here doesn't get a chance to really get around guns too much. Regardless, I brought one of my ARs. He really likes ARs. He really wants an AR for himself. But his parents just don't. I guess he's really not old enough. I thought he was older than he was. My wife and I were talking about this. He really is. He's only like 15, so he's got some time. But I let him shoot my AR pistol, which I can't remember what muzzle brake is on there, but it is just nasty. If you've shot an AR pistol, you understand they're going to be loud already, but I want to say it's a Surefire brake on there, one of the Surefire brakes. It is just boom, fireball. It is awesome. In fact, maybe I'll link the video to this so you can see me shooting in slow-mo. But it's just loud and obnoxious, and he loved it. And so I let all my nephews that were there shoot a magazine through it, and it was just awesome. So that was my Thanksgiving morning. And then obviously we do the Thanksgiving stuff, whatever, after the fact, with turkey and ham, and I just like pumpkin pie. That's all I really care about. But this Thanksgiving was also a little bit different for me. I think I've maybe alluded to it before. I don't know if I talked about it in the last episode, but I've started to change how I eat, and I've been exercising a lot more. After getting sick, I've been kind of worried about, taking care of myself a little bit more. I want to be fit again. Up to about maybe 2010, I was in really good shape. I was strong. I was definitely a lot lighter. And so I've decided that I need to get back to that again. So I've started doing, a workout routine and counting my calories and stuff, which I've never done before, but it has made a difference. In the last 3 weeks, I've dropped 7 pounds. So that's pretty nice. But I'm going to throw a link in here, by the way. So when I was at GonCon, I met with the dudes from Phorm. They were all there hanging out. They brought their big, massive truck that was pretty awesome. And they had their energy drinks and their protein snacks and stuff. And I just had a chance to talk to those guys, and I thought they were really cool. So when I decided I was going to make my physical change of actually doing something, changing how I eat and bettering myself physically, those guys came to mind. And so after talking with them, I was able to create an affiliate link. So I'm going to drop that down below. It helps the show out a little bit, and it's really been helping me. Like I said, I have dropped 7 pounds in the last 3 weeks. Maybe that's not much to you guys, but that is a lot to me. The one thing I really like about Phorm is there's a community of people that actually care about you. Like, you can go to the gym, you can go hang out and whatever, but I've been using the Phorm app, honestly, and it's helped me out a lot because they have these organized workouts. They have a bunch of workouts available that you can choose from. And it's like a whole regime. Like, this particular workout is 8 weeks of stuff I can do at home. I don't even have to go to the gym. I have some free weights and stuff here at home that I use. I don't really want to go to the gym. I'd rather do it at home. And then I've been able to hook up with a coach, and she's been super helpful. She's been kind of keeping me accountable for everything I've been doing. So, long story short, like, I'm actually seeing a benefit, and that's why I wanted to share that with you guys. And like, it's not just, hey, go buy blah, blah, blah. It's been helping me, and I can feel the difference, and I see the difference. I've actually been having to drink a lot more water. I'm actually behind for my water for the day. But yeah, they've been holding me accountable. And I can, like I say, I can see and feel the difference just in these last, I'm on week 3 of my workout routine, and it's been good for me. I've still noticed that I have some issues with, like, with my energy levels and breathing and stuff from being sick that have kind of held me back on some things. I've noticed that, like, running on a treadmill, which I hate running anyways, but I can't do that for very long. But I've noticed pumping the weights and stuff hasn't been an issue. Anyway, so I'm going to drop the link to First Phorm right here. It's my affiliate link. So, like I say, it helps out the show, and their energy drinks are good. Their supplements are great. I've been taking the pre-workout, the creatine, and I bought some protein powder, but I'm thinking I must be allergic to it's the whey protein. There must be something in for me physically, because my wife has been drinking it and she's fine. So I'm going to try their vegan protein and try to see how that goes as well. I just ordered a bunch of the greens and stuff. So I'm excited to see how that works out. Like I say, it's worked for me. Maybe if you're feeling like, hey, New Year's is coming up, you might as well get a jump on it now. You know, most New Year's resolutions, they kind of fall apart, you know, those first like 3 or 4 weeks into it, if they last that long. So get a head start now. And by the time your New Year's resolutions pop up, you're already moving forward. You've already got that ball rolling. And anyway, so there it is. So I'll stop there. Let's actually get to the show, what we were going to be talking about. The ATF, if you remember way back to the teaser, 10 minutes ago, the ATF could be in jeopardy. And what do I mean by jeopardy? Well, so if you haven't heard, if you've lived under a rock for the last few weeks, Brandon Herrera, his name has been floating around as the next ATF director. And I can only imagine that because of people like Kash Patel and some of these other folks, that name has trickled up to Donald Trump. So a gun tuber that holds an FFL, that builds guns and sells guns and creates pretty hilarious content could literally be the next director of the ATF. Now, there's a lot of things that need to happen before the names get thrown around for ATF director. All the the major important cabinet roles have to be filled, and then everything trickles down from there. But can you imagine Brandon Herrera as the ATF director? First of all, even without the stuff that we're going to be talking about here in a second, that guy would do some serious pruning to the agency. Serious pruning, which would be fantastic. The term common use is going to be pushed around a lot, which I'm totally cool with, because there's a lot of things that are currently in common use that are still confined inside the boundaries of the NFA that don't need to be there. They don't need to be there. Short-barreled rifles, why? We have AR pistols and have had AR pistols for a very long time, and yes, they fit within the definition of common use, which was either in Heller or I always forget the name of that case, the taser case. Anyway, that it'll come to me probably after I'm done recording, where I think the bounds of common use were like 200,000 or 100,000. I'm pretty sure that was the taser case. Caetano versus Massachusetts, I think. And I think within what they talked about, common use test was, I want to say it was 100,000. We are far past 100,000 AR pistols out there, which, you know, they were tried to be thrown into the short-barreled rifle realm. So, Brandon, let's work on this. If you become the director, get them pruning shears out. But there's far more danger for the ATF than Brandon Herrera, which would be fantastic for the agency. Morale would totally change. We'd actually have, there are a lot of good agents in the ATF. I've spoken with several, at least of my local field office agents in Boise. Some of those dudes are actually pretty damn cool. Like, they're gun guys, but they have a job to do. And I mean, So did the Nazis, I suppose. Let's show you this down here. Yeah, here it is. So years ago, this was proposed. Wow, January of last year, 2023. This was HR 374. Let me shift this over. And I believe Matt Gaetz was the one that actually introduced the House Bill 374. And this bill is really, really long. All right. So I don't know if you want me to read this bill to you. I will. I'm going to read it to you anyways. Sit down. Oh, yeah. I can tell you right now it was Matt Gaetz. Ready? If you're watching this, you can read along. This shouldn't take too long. HR 374 to abolish the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives. In the House of Representatives, January 17th, 23, Matt Gaetz introduced the following bill, which was referred to the Committee of the Judiciary. And here it is. Section 1. This act is cited to abolish the ATF. As the ATF, abolish the ATF Act. Section 2, abolishment of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives is hereby abolished. That's the entire bill. That's it. We don't need any flowery text. We don't need any fancy stuff written in there. Obviously, there's no pork inside this bill. It's, hey, ATF, you're fired. Okay? Now, how cool is that? Obviously, when it was introduced in 23, Matt Gaetz knew that was not going anywhere, but it was kind of a statement saying, hey, we know what you're doing. Here's our plan. Step off, homie, because things are going to happen. And of course, the juggernaut, which is the left and the deep state and the rhinos and all those people inside the swamp, this bill didn't go anywhere. We knew it wouldn't. I'm sure Matt Gaetz knew it wouldn't. But here's the beauty. Oh, yes, here's the beauty. I want to show you a couple of videos. Okay, we're gonna kind of flow through these videos together. Check this out. All right, I want to introduce you to a man named Congressman Eric Burleson. So he's good friends with Matt Gaetz, and I think he was probably a part of the aforementioned HR 374, which we just talked about. But yeah, check this dude out. This is a video from Fox News Digital. I'm going to share this with you, right? Meow.
The ATF is a disaster. I mean, for decades they've been a disaster agency, and they've been violating the constitutional, Second Amendment. They every time they try to get involved, they mess things up. I mean, they have a long history of mistakes, of abusing individuals' Second Amendment rights, all the way back to Ruby Ridge, to what happened at Waco, and then you had the Operation Fast and Furious.
Exactly.
This is an agency that
Exactly.
just continues to violate citizens' rights and Second Amendment rights. And I think that at the end of the day, this agency needs to be abolished, and we need to let the states police what happens at the states. The ATF basically directs the states what to do anyway. I had another bill that said that the states cannot be, our local law enforcement cannot be commandeered. Whenever I was a state senator, they could not be commandeered by the federal agencies, including the ATF, because the ATF generally, they're not the ones that actually are performing the work. There's very few ATF officials. What they do is they co-opt or they commandeer local law enforcement. The problem is you're co-opting or commandeering law enforcement to enforce laws that the legislators in those states have never passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a problem. I think that we need to leave these decisions to the states and let their local law enforcement police their citizens. Do I think that we can accomplish this? I think that we can accomplish the agenda, the goal, in a number of ways. We can, if this bill is not going to pass, we're not going to abolish it, in law, then we can defund it. If we can't defund it, then we will find any and every rule that they're abusing and that gives them their authority, and we can repeal those. So this is a multi-pronged effort. I can't tell other Republicans how to vote, but there's constituents can, And I have a feeling that their constituents will strongly encourage them to support this bill. There's a lot of a lot of the ABCs of this town need to be abolished, starting with the Department of Education.
Ooh, bomb
I
dropping
think
now.
that we should eliminate the EPA.
Agreed.
There's a lot of states that, including my own, that have our own agency
Yeah,
that
the
handles
states have stuff
environmental
inside
issues.
each
Let
boundary.
all of these decisions be made at the state level. The EPA is making one-size-fits-all rules for the entire United States. They're being more harmful than they're being helpful. So there are a lot of government agencies that that I'm looking forward to the new Doge that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are putting together, along with Ron
Yes,
Paul, which I'm very excited
Doge.
about. And I'm excited to work with them to find waste and pork in the federal government and consolidate or eliminate entire agencies. Our top priorities heading into 2025, when Trump takes office, I think that he campaigned on securing the border, reducing inflation. He campaigned on making Americans healthy again. These are some of the top priorities and also downsizing government. All of those are the top priorities that I hope that we can accomplish the first 100 days. Also, tax cuts. I think the American people
Yes, please.
are expecting relief, and the one of the top priorities, in addition, should be that we should, extend the Trump tax cuts and make them permanent. If not, add more tax cuts.
Awesome. So there he is. Like, how much of stuff of that do you disagree with, or do you? I kind of like the way all of it sounds. Sounds like a sweet love song coming out of Congress. Abolishing the ATF, getting rid of the EPA, getting rid of the Department of Education. Now, I know some of these sound like extremely radical. What are we going to do? The kids are going to be stupid and the environment's going to crash. No, it's not. No, it's not. Every state has already set up protocols that within the boundaries of those states, they're going to be fine. And just like your sheriff's office or your local PD already knows a lot of the stuff that the guns that are around, they already have protocols there. Here's another one from Newsmax. This is another good interview. So I just want you guys to understand and know, hey, this guy's for real. This guy's kind of nifty. So let's jump here. All right. Listen to this.
Republican Congressman from Missouri, Eric Burleson. Great to see you, sir. Also a member of the Oversight and Accountability Committee, doing great work. Congressman, good to see you. Welcome into Newsline today.
Great to see you too.
All right, so ATF, you say this is a disaster for the American people, that it should be abolished. This is legislation that you co-sponsored with former Congressman Matt Gaetz, and it does fall under ATF, under the DOJ. So explain a little bit more in depth. If you get rid of the ATF, what should replace it, how to protect, obviously, the Second Amendment for Americans.
Yeah, thank you. The ATF is really a duplicative agency. They co-opt the efforts of each state,
duplicative.
whether it's a sheriff's office, a local police, or a highway patrol. They commandeer those resources.
Listen to this.
To bend their will and have them enforce the radical and anti-Second Amendment policies of a bunch of bureaucrats in the ATF. And they have abused the Second Amendment again and again and again. Just recently with the pistol brace rule, they, in my opinion, unlawfully, unconstitutionally declared tens of millions of Americans, law-abiding Americans, as violating the law, and that could be charged with felony convictions. This is a rogue agency. I think that they've been a disaster from the beginning. When you look back throughout history, they're the ones that are responsible for some of our most embarrassing moments. When you go back to Ruby Ridge or what happened at Waco, look at Fast and Furious, Operation Fast and Furious, the disaster that was. I mean, again and again, this agency continues to violate the rights of the American people. And I think that
100%.
it's time that we let the states regulate the laws that are passed by lawmakers in the states. And I think that means we need to abolish the ATF.
Well, it looks like there'll be a lot of changes with the new administration.
So you can already see that Mr. Burleson here. Yes, I had to look at his name that I wrote down. He wants to get rid of the ATF, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with. So he wants to, or he suggests that the states have the ability to regulate the laws within their state, which they do, 100%. So here's a little bit of a pushback on just throwing the ATF all the way out. First of all, each state's going to be a little bit different, which they already are. So moving from one state to another state, you could be losing some of your rights. Like say, I'm going to move to Colorado, or I want to move to Missouri, or whatever. Some of my rights that I enjoy within the confines of the Second Amendment, as the state of Idaho defines it, may not be equal to something that gets defined in Colorado. So there's going to be a little bit of problem there, right? That's kind of why you have federal agencies. Well, maybe that was the reason initially that we have some of these federal laws and agencies to govern those laws, is to maintain somewhat of a standard across the board. So by deleting the ATF, we could be creating a monster that we may not understand. So maybe getting rid of the ATF is not quite right. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Maybe we should, like I was saying in the beginning, prune that extremely down to maintaining some kind of a federal standard that states can't go past, right? Kind of like, the way the Second Amendment should be altogether is, or let's look at speech, right? Speech is a better way to put it, because that's a guaranteed right as well. One state doesn't regulate speech any different than others, yet they're trying to, but we have the freedom to speak no matter where we're at. That should be the same way with all of our rights, including the right to keep and bear arms. So that standard needs to be kept. So maybe we have the ATF there for certain reasons. Now, when it comes to machine guns or suppressors or short-barreled rifles or short-barreled shotguns, I feel like the ATF is, the NFA in general is outdated. It's outmoded. But there's no purpose for it. There really is no purpose for it. Will crimes rise? Probably. Yeah, they'll probably come up. But that's where local governments come in and execute the laws that are there, and not go pussyfooting around. Like if somebody commits a crime with a machine gun, those should be hefty penalties to discourage the misuse of those items. Same thing with explosives, right? The ATF governs explosives. If somebody blows up a Walmart, well, then there should be hefty fines, or not fines. I don't think that should be a fine. There should be other penalties attached to that. Maybe fines. I don't know. I'm not a lawmaker. I'm not a judge. But you get what I'm saying, right? There's 20,000 gun laws on the books between state and federal. Let's execute the gun laws that are there, prosecute to the fullest extent that the law allows, and then and don't let these people out, right? I just read a thing, is in Washington State. Some dude had five attempted murders or 5 murders or something at different times, right? He's been in trouble with the law over, I think it was 5 shootings, connected with 5 shootings. But he continues to get out of jail, and he just commits a crime again. He's a felon. He can't have a gun. Yet he got a gun, and he was still shooting people up. Hello? It's stuff like that is tarnishing the ATF, because they're not prosecuting, right? Well, they can't prosecute. They're supposed to be an investigative agency. Well, if they're investigating, that information should then go to the FBI or local agencies, and those people should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That's how it should be. Now, maybe the FBI or the ATF should be kind of like the FBI, where it's just an investigating bureau that simply creates a non-biased thing where they can come in and they can look at some of these travesties that happen and just investigate and report, and then let the local agencies hammer their way through, or the FBI. Anyway, that's my spiel. I want to show you one more video of this guy. This was when he was running for office. It is absolutely epic. You got to check this out. Hold on. Hold your water, mister. All right, let's jump back to this screen.
President Trump was right when he said that socialism destroys society. Socialism and CRT are brainless, dead, old ideas that cause us to feed on each other and destroy wealth.
I want that
These woke
flamethrower.
left ideas are zombie ideas. I'm Eric Burleson. My mission is to keep critical race theories out of our schools and stop socialism from ruining our country. I'm Eric Burleson, and I approve this message because it's time to destroy socialism.
All right. So a guy that creates an ad like that, it's hard to say, I can't have that guy here. I can't have that guy in Congress. An ad like that makes me want to vote for him. So I think what I'm getting at was between all his, and there's been other stories about him, and he's been on the news before with a lot of other things, and he's been in hearings, and he does not back down. But what I'm getting at is between this video I just showed and his other interviews that he just did, it sounds like this guy actually does care about our constitutional rights. He actually gives a damn, which is good, right? We need that. We need that in this country. Speaking of the ATF, I wanted you to read a couple things here. So I pulled up the ATF's mission statement just because, right? Because it's an agency that's in jeopardy. Let's just put it that way. Excuse me. And I wanted to, sorry, goodness, still have that cough. I can't get rid of it. I wanted to read these things to you, and I want you to see it for yourselves. So I decided to jump on the Googleizer machine and see what the ATF, like what their mission statement was, what their vision of the future might be. So I pulled up their mission statement, their vision statement, and all that stuff. I want you to check this stuff out. Read it with me, okay? ATF's vision: working for a safe and more secure America through innovation and partnerships. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives must protect the public against crime, violence, and other threats to public safety. Our vision will help us chart a course to improve the way we serve and protect the public, provide leadership and expertise, and achieve new levels of effectiveness and teamwork. Now, their mission statement down here says, the ATF mission. The mission of the ATF is to conduct criminal investigations, regulate the firearms and explosive industries, and assist other law enforcement agencies. This work is undertaken to prevent terrorism, reduce violent crime, and protect the public in a manner that is faithful to the Constitution and the laws of the United States. Sure. All right, the values, because we know the ATF has some good values. So let's check this out. ATF values. We value each other and those we serve. We will uphold the highest standards of excellence and integrity, provide the highest quality service, and promote strong external partnerships. Develop a diverse, innovative, and well-trained workforce to achieve our goals. Embrace learning and change in order to meet the challenges of the future. So it's funny. I actually like reading in my happy radio voice. It sounds so much better. So, and let's read the strategic planning process of the ATF, shall we? The ATF strategic planning process relies on teamwork and effective communication to focus scarce resources on the global challenges facing America today. The fiscal year wow, this is old. I didn't realize this was that old. Fiscal year 2004 to 2009 ATF strategic plan to address these challenges is based on long-term legislative, I got to look at the new one, mission mandates, consumer and stakeholder output. Why stakeholder output? What are you guys like? Anyway, presidential and departmental priorities to strategize plan let's try that again. The strategic plan and goals are developed by the ATF strategic leadership team to establish the framework on which we develop and implement annual operating plans. The plan consists of 3 strategic goals representing firearms, explosives, and arson, and alcohol and tobacco. Man, hello, run-on sentence. There's commas for a reason. The format of the strategic plan is as follows. Strategic goals, high-level statements of what outcome is needed, objectives, statements of what will be accomplished, and tactics, actions that will be taken to attain an objective. I wonder if there's any new ones. Like, I didn't realize this document was that old until just now when I read that last statement. Boy, that makes me such a great host, right? Such a great host. So, anyway, the ATF, actually, I pulled this straight off of their website. So they haven't updated it since 2004. Well, that's fantastic. Probably that's the last time I had a real, actual director of the ATF. Who knows? I didn't look that up. It's kind of frustrating, honestly. So we've needed a director for the ATF for a very long time. And it's taken a millennia, it feels like. We have Dettelbach. We've had that other guy that was a wiener. We had a guy that they wanted to appoint that happened to be tied to Columbine. Oopsies, Freudian slip. Waco, and yeah, he was also connected to Ruby Ridge. Do your research. I think we did a show about Ruby Ridge. Maybe you should look that up. It's interesting to see that the ATF, like their goal here, you know, their values, their goals, we just read through them, is to keep the public safe and investigate crimes and establish priorities, right? To help from terrorism, whatever, all this stuff, right? Yet their grubby little fingers are tied to things like Ruby Ridge, Waco, Fast and Furious, and who knows what else out there that just hasn't been brought up to the public limelight. It's really frustrating, right? There's a lot of corruption in these agencies. And when you get people like Barack Obama that throw in someone like Eric Holder that leverages the ATF to do things to create these crazy scenarios so they can push the thumb down on the citizens, that is corruption. That is disgusting. And I think when the future will bring up some of the things that have been happening over the last 8 to 10 years that should be pretty eye-opening. I think this kind of stuff happens under every administration, right? They're all being manipulated. Like, everybody has an agenda, and it's just somebody that's the most convincing at manipulating their agenda that gets their agenda done. Does that make any sense? Maybe that's a stupid comment. What I mean is, everybody has something they want done, and if they can create the flowery picture and a convincing argument, their agenda takes place. And again, that happens right or left side of the aisle. And who loses? The American people lose. So, on a lighter note, I was traveling through the ATF's website, and I had no idea that this page existed on the ATF. This is hilarious, in my opinion. Like, I actually chuckled when I pulled this up. Let me screen share this with you guys. This is ridiculous. To think that the ATF has this stuff on here. I'm just trying to fix my screen so it captures the best. All right, this still too big. So what happens when I throw videos up? Like, all this stuff changes. All right. You ready for this? Check this out. Maybe you knew this existed, but the ATF has a gift shop. There's a place on their website that you can buy stuff branded with ATF logos. Like this is their cute little mouse pad here, this first one. That should be a challenge coin, because that's actually kind of cool. That is it's a mouse pad, and for those that can't really see it, in the middle there is a ticking time bomb that's like 4 sticks of dynamite with a clock, and then one of the wires goes down to a pack of cigarettes. Another wire goes to an AR-15, and which looks like a Glock. The next one goes to a moonshine still. Another one goes to a fire. And then the last one goes to a computer, which I can't read what it says on the computer screen. But I think that's hilarious. And it's out of stock, but normally they're only $4. There's a nice little stocking stuffer. You can get a challenge coin over here for $8.99. Everybody wants a challenge coin. What else we got here? A pocket jotter, which I have, maybe that's like a notepad. What is this? We're going to click on this. What is a pocket jotter? This pocket jotter fits easily into your pocket or bag for the on-the-go convenience. No matter where the day takes you, features ruled paper. Oh yeah, business card slot. So you can actually, it's a little notepad. That's funny. I think this is hilarious. Like, why are we not trolling the ATF gift shop more than we should be? Coffee mugs. Oh, a little Noir mugs. There's a patch, a cheap-ass pen for 99 cents. This is where our tax money goes, by the way. These stupid little trinkets. Page 2. So this top one here, there's a little red screwdriver. I have this screwdriver. You can buy these on Temu for like 90 cents or probably less than that now. I didn't get mine off Temu, but I found them on Alibaba and other places. I think on Amazon they're like less than $5.99, and I could even laser whatever I want on that logo there. Let's see. There's shot glasses, which everybody needs. ATF shot glasses. Lapel pin. That's tempting. Here's a 50 caliber bottle opener, and yes, believe it or not, there is ATF athletic wear. So here's a nice. Oh, this is for youth even. It comes in youth sizes. This is like a sweatshirt with the ATF athletic symbol on it. You can buy some sweatpants so you can blend into the community. But this is what made me absolutely... I laughed out loud when I saw this. They have dog plushies. So maybe like all these little puppies are the ones that, I'm not going to say it. You know exactly where I'm going about dog plushies. Maybe these are targets. Maybe these are nice little plushy targets that they put down range and they do some training with. But they're cute little plush puppies with ATF collars on them. Freaking hilarious. Something I am pretty tempted to buy on their shop here. Now I can't find it. They had cufflinks. Where did they go? I want ATF cufflinks. If you want to buy me something for Christmas... here they are. ATF cufflinks. They're only $15. So if you're looking for a stocking stuffer to send to Steve here at the Range Minded Podcast, I will take ATF cufflinks. I think this is hilarious. They're doing it as an honest, like, hey, we could do something. Reach out to the public. Let's change our public perception, and by selling shit on their website. Like, this is absolute junk, by the way. But I'd still take it. That ATF lanyard, key lanyard, is actually pretty awesome. Christmas ornaments. If you need to get your holiday shopping, look, if you want to have it there by Christmas Eve, your shopping has to be done and put in by December 13th here on their website to guarantee that it'll be there by Christmas. Let's see what else they got here. Lots of Christmas ornaments, actually. That's kind of funny. Look, there's a USB. Oh, here's the mouse pad. Here, it's not. I'm going to click on this mouse pad. Like, this is stupid. Like, I'm probably going to get in trouble for showing you their website, but, yeah. I would take this mouse pad, too. This is hilarious. This is absolutely, like, ghetto hilarious. Oh, look, you can get a phone charger. I got to get off their website. They're probably tracking me as we speak. FBI, open up! So, I just thought I had to show you that gift shop. That just makes me laugh. It's hilarious. I'm sucked back into the gift shop. All right. Let's shift gears. Ta-ta. Let me get a drink real quick. Mazel tov. So, one of the things on the NFA, this kind of surprised me. Now, this is not a news story. I can't remember if we talked about this, quite honestly. but it's still kind of interesting. So let me share this with you. So this is, well, I guess this is last month, October 8th, almost 2 months ago. The numbers for suppressors came out from the previous year. So I thought this was rather interesting. So again, this is an article from the NSSF. You don't have to be a member of the NSSF to jump on and read some of their articles. In fact, I would encourage you, if you're into like 2A news and quality information, there's so many resources on the NSSF website. Say that 15 times.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
If you don't know who the NSSF is, they're the ones that are responsible for SHOT Show, which is coming up, which I'm trying to get to. You could help me out if you like. That'd be great. So this is shill. I'm a shill. Steve's a frickin' shill. He just wants money to go to SHOT Show. Yeah, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna get there this year because I got sick. So that really sucks. All the money I had set aside for SHOT Show has gone to medical bills. That's pretty rad. Anyway, I'm gonna read this article. This isn't, well, okay, I won't read the whole thing because it's too long. Record ownership. So the ATF, this is a little bit down, maybe halfway down. It's quarter of the way down to the article. Today, October 8th, the ATF is processing suppressor applications in not only record time, but in some instances the same day. Long gone is the wait time barrier that is drawing hunters to purchase a suppressor who had previously dreaded the long wait time to purchase one. As a result, silencer registration metrics are off the chart, which they really are off the chart. I had heard wait times. So back when I was at the gun counter, it was not uncommon to have people wait 13 months, 14 months. I think was the longest wait time I'd ever heard. There are people getting their paperwork back the same day, which is crazy to me. Let's see how. Okay, now discontinued at the ATF Commerce. Blah, blah, blah. In the United States, report displayed the number of silencers were registered in each state. In May 2021, the May 21 edition of this report that the ATF doesn't do anymore, there were 2,664,774 silencers in the United States, more than doubling the 1.3 million silences in 2017. But recent numbers, in a recent Freedom of Information Act, the NSSF received from the ATF and the additional number of suppressors or silencers from May 21 to July 24. An incredible 2,193,123 more suppressors are protecting the hearing of hunters and shooters. That means a whopping 4.86 million silencers and counting are in possession of law-abiding citizens. Almost 5 million suppressors are out there. So check this metric out right here. Don't worry about the Freedom Auction. I don't even know what that is. So in 2017, there was 1.2, almost 1.3 million silencers. By 2021, there was 2.6 million. In June of this year, 4.8 million suppressors. So we talked about common use a little while back. Now look, you cannot tell me that suppressors are not in common use. So this is fantastic news. And again, this all goes back to repealing the NFA. Suppressors are nothing more than a muffler. They're not going to make your gun movie quiet, right? That doesn't exist. That doesn't happen. So this is awesome. And if we can get rid of the NFA, that is all the more merrier, right? How amazing would that be to get rid of that? Some dudes really like patches, right? I am one of them. Look at this, right? My patch wall behind me here, right there. I love patches. patches, I don't know what it is about them. They're just fun. They're kind of a way to express yourself. And I know you guys know, but just a reminder, I do have patches available on my website, rangemindedpodcast.com. There you can make your patch purchases. And unfortunately, I'm just a small guy. I have to charge shipping because I can't afford to ship things to you for free. Sorry. I know that's the way it is. Some people, that's a hindrance. But maybe I need to make a deal if you buy all 4 patches. I'll do a patch set. We'll figure it out. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, they're available on the website. Prices are there. You can coordinate shipping and everything right there at the website. Makes life easy for me and for you. So if you like patches, like me, jump on over there, grab some patches. It's a good time. Good time. I remember what I was going to talk about now. Kind of had a brain freeze there for a second. So last week I went to Boise. I went to sit in a class. You remember Steve Yerger that we had on the show a couple episodes ago? Well, I ended up sitting and auditing one of his classes that he had held for some attorneys. It was kind of interesting. It was kind of opening. It was a fun class. So what I'm getting at with that is, don't be scared to reach out and interact with more people in the 2A community. I didn't know Steve from Adam from the beginning. We happened to meet on Twitter. We communicated a lot, found out he was from Idaho, found out he was an firearms educator. He's an expert witness. If you want to know more about Steve's story, I understand the audio in that episode was kind of meh. I get it. It was a long story. We did the best that we could with what we had. He was on the road working. So anyway, but as an expert witness, he deals a lot with attorneys and that kind of thing. It was an interesting, eye-opening thing to see how some attorneys think, how they create cases, the information that they need. It was kind of cool. Let me put it to you this way. I think it's important as not just firearms owners, but if you carry pepper spray, if you carry a knife for defensive use, brass knuckles, Kubotan, whatever, you really need to understand the implications. There's the word I'm looking for. Of if you have to use a life-saving tool in defense of you or a loved one or somebody else, right? If somebody's life is in peril and you have to use that life-saving device, there's so much to the what will happen next. I think, well, and I know from my time teaching, when I'm teaching, Idaho has 2, we talked about this before, Idaho has 2 concealed weapons. I can teach either one. In the enhanced one, we talk about the legal side of it all. But all those educators or those students I have had in the past, a lot of them don't think about what's next if they have to use a gun. I think a lot of us fall into the category of, hey, I was defending my life. I have the right to keep and bear arms. The Second Amendment qualifies me to defend myself. Yes, but no, right? When we have to use our tool in a life-saving situation, the cops are going to show up. They got to investigate. They don't know who the good guy or the bad guy is. They have to conduct an investigation. So because of that, you might be treated like a criminal. And we don't like, innocent people don't like being treated like criminals. And guess what? Criminals don't like being treated like criminals either. So it's kind of a dichotomy there. So as we go through this, if we're trying to fortify our case legally and we get in a sticky situation, things could happen. A defensive case is expensive, right? It's going to cost you a fortune if you have to defend yourself in court. A fortune. The Kyle Rittenhouse case, I think it was like $600,000 or something. It might even be more than that. And that's just a criminal case. The civil case, right? Like it's expensive. And it's just the way we live in a litigious society. So we really need to wrap as sheepdogs or whatever you want to call us, as people that carry for defensive purposes. We really need to understand our state laws. We need to contact an attorney if we can afford to talk to an attorney. yes, I like the idea of like the USCCA. That's who I have my certifications through. I don't mind the idea of having that insurance. It's not really insurance. It's prepaid legal is what it really is. There's the right, what is it, Bear Arms or whatever. There's actually several organizations out there that you can pay monthly to that that help you in a situation like that. But please do your research. Some of them are less favorable than others. I'm not going to tell you which one you should join. But I think it's important for you to do the research when it comes to that. Also, you absolutely need to understand your rights and responsibilities as a concealed carry holder. Like I said, attorneys are expensive. I was listening to a conversation between a couple of those attorneys there last week at that class. They were talking about travel time, and he's like, "Yeah, it's $50 an hour to travel." And when he was telling the other guy that, the other guy acted like, "Are you kidding? You're getting ripped off. That's not enough. $50 an hour to drive. That's pretty good money. I don't make $50 an hour." So, attorneys aren't cheap. That's what I'm getting at. Defending yourself is not cheap. You need to understand those laws, okay? You need to understand the rules inside your state. Really, the actuality is a lot of times it's better as a defender just to avoid the conflict altogether. Don't get road rage. Don't implicate yourself into something that you could have avoided. That's what I'm getting at. So, like, there's so many avenues I could go on this. You just need to be careful, okay? Don't think because you have a concealed weapons permit, you've had the background check, you bought the gun legally, you're an upstanding citizen, you've never broken the law before. Yeah, all those things could play a role in your case, in your defense, but it doesn't pay your court fees. It doesn't just let you go, because there's a lot of folks that think they're in the right. They think they've done the right thing, but they made a terrible choice, a choice that cost them a lot of time in jail or an excessive amount of money in their defense. Just be mindful. I guess that's what it comes down to. There's a lot of good books out. There's the Andrew Baranka book out there, The Law of Self-Defense. It's a good book. Yeah, I guess what I'm boiling down to is just because you carry a life-saving tool doesn't make you the hero. You got to use your melon. You got to get good quality education from good quality instructors that help you develop a mindset being a safe person. Tactics are one thing. Yeah, I can teach you how to shoot a gun. I can teach you how to put hold in a target. We can talk about stands. We can talk about grip. We can talk about sight alignment. We can talk about all that stuff. Trigger press. Sure, I can teach you all that stuff. But I can't make the decisions for you. Your gunfight is not my gunfight. I can't be there. Like, you're not going to be able to call me and say, "Hey, Steve, there's about to be a defensive situation. What do?" I can't be there for you for that. I'm not your attorney. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to take the fall for you. You need to learn to develop a good mindset. And some of that is just avoiding the conflict altogether. So find a good place for that kind of education. Again, the Andrew Baranka book is a good place to start. There's just keep taking classes. Like, don't stop taking classes. You don't want to make your brain smooth, I guess is what I'm getting at. And the world that we live in, the country that we live in, is just getting crazier. It's just getting worse. It seems like there's more emboldened criminals out there than there used to be. Maybe there's not. Maybe that ratio has never changed. Maybe I'm just seeing it more. Does that make sense? I don't think so. I think it's actually an increase. Well, if you look at the data, the FBI crime data, yeah, it's going up. which means we have to be more vigilant, which means we have to make better decisions beforehand. Maybe we just don't go to those places, or we don't go there at specific times. We pick different routes. We pick better places to shop. We pick better places for our kids to go to school. Maybe we homeschool, whatever. All those things play a factor, and there is no cookie cutter answer for all of this. Like, everything is situational dependent. Everything is family dependent. Everything is you dependent. You have to make those decisions. And though all the education in the world is beneficial and helps you create a decision, none of those classes can make that decision for you. But you need the information to make a qualified decision. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Anyways, friends, I really appreciate you. I'm going to let you go. The show was not as short as I thought it would be, but it is what it is. I love you guys. I am so thankful for you guys for hanging out. Again, if you want to find some patches, you can jump on the website. There's ways you can contact me on the website, rangemindedpodcast.com. If you want to follow me again on Instagram, it's Range Minded Podcast. Range Minded Podcast on Instagram, Range Minded on Twitter. Facebook is a Range Minded Podcast. Even TikTok, which I've spent way less time on TikTok. I don't even know why I still have it. I should just delete it because TikTok kind of sucks. So anyway, but I'm on there as well, Range Minded Podcast. If you want to jump on some other episodes, that'd be great. But what'd really be helpful, honestly, is if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this on Rumble, well, even listening to the audio version of this podcast, please like it. Please leave a comment and share it with somebody else. I really would love to see 100. I don't have that many subscribers on YouTube or Rumble, but if I could see those numbers hit 100 before the end of the year, which is a big deal, right? It's not a big deal to you. It's zero deal to you, but it is a big deal to me because it means I'm getting to more people. My stories, my logic maybe makes sense to more people. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I love you guys. Don't forget, you got to take somebody shooting because the Second Amendment depends on you. You guys be safe. Take care.